Welcome back, everyone. We're about to take a deep dive into Nagoya, Japan today. And we've got a couple interesting sources here. We've got this article all about Nagoya, and then we've also got this website, flightonhotels.com. So we're going to kind of jumping between those two to see what kind of nuggets we can pull out.
Yeah.
And maybe inspire some trip planning.
You know, it's funny. When people think about Japan, they usually think like Tokyo, Kyoto. But Nagoya, from what I'm reading here, it seems to have like a really cool mix of like history and innovation, like ancient samurai stuff, and then also really modern technology.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so this article is highlighting Nagoya Castle first and foremost. And it sounds pretty spectacular visually. They've got these golden shachihoko on the roof, which are like
Dolphin creatures.
Yeah, dolphin-like creatures, right. And I'm trying to imagine them with the cherry blossoms in the background. It just sounds like a really stunning image.
Well, and they're not just there to look pretty. They're actually talismans. They're supposed to protect against fire.
Oh, wow.
So it's kind of cool how they have like this ancient tradition that's still like part of the city today.
I like how these little details have a deeper meaning.
Yeah.
Okay, so besides the castle, the article is talking about Atsuta Shrine, which is one of Japan's most important Shinto shrines. And it says it's home to a legendary sword nestled in like a tranquil forest. So I'm imagining like a peaceful little escape.
Yeah, Shinto shrines are all about that, like connecting with nature and the spirits of the land. And at Atsuta Shrine, it houses the Kusanagi no Tsurugi.
Oh, wow.
Which is a sacred sword that's supposed to be like a gift from the sun goddess.
Okay, that's giving me chills.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got ancient castles and sacred swords, but Nagoya is clearly not stuck in the past. We've got the Toyota Commemorative Museum of Industry and Technology, and this has got to be a must-see for anyone who loves cars, right?
Totally. What's interesting about it is you can see the whole evolution of Toyota, like how they started as a loom manufacturer.
Oh, really?
And then became this global car company.
Oh.
It's pretty amazing.
Okay, so speaking of making things, let's talk about food. The article is talking about Nagoya meshi, the local cuisine. We've got hitsumabushi, grilled eel rice, tebasaki, which are like crispy chicken wings, and then miso katsu, a pork cutlet with this rich miso sauce. Man, it all sounds so good.
Nagoya's food scene is definitely something to experience. Yeah, hitsumabushi is a good example. They have a really specific way of eating it. Like first you taste the eel plain and then you add condiments. And then finally you pour broth over it.
Wow.
It's like a whole journey.
I love how food can tell a story about a place.
For sure.
Okay, so we've got history, technology, and amazing food. But what about something a little more modern? The Osu Shopping District seems like the place to be. Boutiques, electronics, street food, everything.
Oh, Osu Canyon is a wild place. It's like a crazy mix of old and new. Like you can find temples that are hundreds of years old next to shops selling the newest gadgets.
Oh, wow.
And the street food is amazing. Takoyaki, taiyaki.
You're really selling me on this trip. Okay, so for something completely different, the Port of Nagoya Public Aquarium. Dolphins, penguins, all kinds of sea creatures. You can't go wrong with an aquarium.
It's not just any aquarium, though. This one focuses on marine life of the Pacific Ocean. They have exhibits that show different ecosystems. They even have a breeding program for endangered sea turtles.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, the dolphin shows are always a hit.
I love that they're doing conservation work.
Yeah.
It adds another level to the whole experience. Speaking of another level, we've got to talk about the Nagoya City Science Museum. The article mentions it has the world's largest planetarium. Talk about a cosmic experience.
What's cool about this museum is it's not just about displaying facts. They want you to interact with the exhibits, even do experiments. It's all about learning and having fun at the same time.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. So it seems like Nagoya is really good at combining education with entertainment.
Yeah, definitely. Like you can learn about the stars and the ocean and cars, all while having a good time. Which brings us to this next place that I want to talk about. The Higashiyama Zoo and Botanical Gardens. That just sounds like such a unique combination. I'm picturing like lush gardens, exotic animals. It's got to be pretty special.
Well, the cool thing about Higashiyama is that they don't just show you the animals. They actually like recreate their natural habitats. So you can see them in an environment that's pretty similar to where they would live in the wild.
That's a really cool way to do it. Okay, so we've covered a lot of modern attractions, ancient shrines, food, but there's this one last spot that I really want to mention. The Meiji Mura Open Air Museum. It sounds like a total time capsule, like you're stepping back into another era.
Oh yeah, if you like history, you'll love Meiji Mura. It's a little outside Nagoya in this beautiful natural setting. And they've preserved all these buildings from the Meiji period. which is a time of huge change in Japan.
So what kind of buildings are we talking about?
Like old schools, post offices, they even have a Western-style bank.
Wow, I can imagine just walking around there and feeling like you're in a different time.
Yeah, it's a really cool way to connect with history.
Okay, so we've been talking about Nagoya this whole time, and it really seems like a city that has something for everyone.
Right. Whether you're into history, food, nature, technology, Nagoya's got it all.
And speaking of planning a trip, we've got flightandhotels.com here, which seems like an awesome tool. It looks super user-friendly, and they've got good prices.
And 24/7 customer support, which is really helpful when you're traveling internationally.
Exactly. I hate it when you run into problems and you can't get a hold of anyone. So it looks like they make planning a trip really easy. So you can focus on actually enjoying your time at your destination.
Definitely. So we've explored Nagoya's history, its modern side, the food, how to get there. But there's one question I keep coming back to. What is it about Nagoya that speaks to you? Like, what's the thing that you're most drawn to?
That's a great question. It's easy to get caught up in listing all the cool things to see and do, but you got to find that thing that really connects with you personally, that thing that makes you want to go explore.
Exactly. Like for some people, it might be the history of Nagoya Castle, samurai and all that. Or maybe it's the energy of the Osu District, like the crowds and the street food and the little shops.
Or maybe it's the peacefulness of Atsuta Shrine. Or the ocean at the aquarium.
And then for those who are more into learning, maybe it's the Toyota Museum or the Science Museum. There are so many possibilities.
It really feels like a city where you can discover something new about yourself.
Absolutely. So as you're thinking about your next trip, think about what you're really looking for in a travel experience. What do you want to learn? How do you want to grow?
What kind of stories do you want to be able to tell?
Because Nagoya, with its mix of old and new, its culture, its history, it could be the perfect place for your next adventure.
It's amazing how just by talking about this stuff, you almost feel like you're already there.
Yeah, I know, right?
Like I'm getting this urge to book a flight right now and just experience it all.
It is a really cool place.
It's that mix of old and new that I think I'm most drawn to.
Yeah, like you've got these ancient samurai castles, but then also cutting-edge museums, peaceful shrines, and bustling shopping districts. It's a really unique combination.
And you know what else I've been thinking about? It's not just about seeing these places, it's about really experiencing them. Like I can picture myself standing in Nagoya Castle and just feeling the weight of all that history.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Or walking through those old Meiji era buildings and imagining what life was like back then.
You've got to engage all your senses. Like imagine the smell of the cherry blossoms, the taste of the food, the sounds of the city. It's all part of the experience.
And those are the kinds of things that stay with you long after you've come home.
Absolutely.
Those little moments, those sensory details, they shape how you see the world.
Traveling is about more than just checking things off a list. It's about broadening your horizons, trying new things, pushing yourself outside your comfort zone.
Yeah. And sometimes it's those moments of discomfort that lead to the most growth.
Exactly. Like when you have to navigate a new city or figure out how to communicate in a different language, that's when you really learn something about yourself.
And I think Nagoya seems like the perfect place for that kind of journey. It's got this rich culture and history, but it's also a really modern and innovative city.
So if you're thinking about planning a trip to Nagoya, I encourage you to think about what you really want to get out of it. What are you curious about? What kind of experiences are you looking for?
Do you want to learn about samurai? Explore Shinto shrines? See the latest technology?
Nagoya has something for everyone.
And don't forget, flightandhotels.com makes the whole planning process super easy.
So you can focus on enjoying your trip.
Well, I think we've covered a lot of ground today. We've explored the history, the culture, the attractions, the food, even the philosophy of travel.
Hopefully we've inspired some of you to start planning your own Nagoya adventure.
And who knows, maybe this deep dive will be the start of something truly special.
You never know where life will take you.
Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.